Yeah. I'm always ready when it's game time. Hustle in my blood, I'ma make mines. Where I'm trying to go, it's gonna take time. You can earn your respect, I'ma take mine. In a lane of my own, I'm in a zone.
Hello and welcome to Going the Distance, where we talk faith, sports, and everything in between. I'm Shawn, and let's get to it. The MLB season is in full swing, so we're going to show a little baseball in today's show, and I'd be remiss if I didn't take time to remember one of baseball's greatest, Hall of Famer Frank Robinson, who passed away on February 7th. As a player, Robinson was a 14-time All-Star who amassed 586 home runs, 2 World Series championships with the Baltimore Orioles, and later became the first African-American field manager in the history of the game. He was a husband, father, and a voice during the Civil Rights Movement. He was 83, and he will be missed. Well, our first story is about the smallest player in Major League Baseball. Houston Astros' Jose Altuve was told he would never make it to the big leagues because he lacked the size and the strength to succeed. But when opportunity presented itself, he proved to the world that big things can come in small packages.
He's a 6-time All-Star, a 3-time batting champion, the reigning American League MVP, and a World Series champion. But that's not what's most impressive. Standing 5'6", Houston Astros' Jose Altuve is the smallest player in Major League Baseball.
You don't think of your size as a negative at all, do you?
No, I'm really happy that I'm 5'6" and I can play ball.
Wow, why you say that?
Because.
The average height of a major leaguer is roughly 6 feet. So when Jose blasted his way into the majors in 2011, he rocked the baseball world with a smile.
I think the biggest reason why I'm always happy is because, just the fact of waking up every day, having my family, and having the opportunity to come to the ballpark and do what I love to do as my job. I thank God every day because of that, because he gave me all this.
Jose is from Maracay, Venezuela, where he was taught Christian values as a boy.
I always gonna believe in that because I grew up knowing he went to the cross for us, he died for us.
In Venezuela, baseball is everything. Jose's father began teaching him the game when he was 7 years old.
I remember he always was happy to take me to the ballpark and play, even when we only have one ball and we have to go back and forth to hit many times. But it means a lot, and now I see my dad, I'm very thankful with him too, because he gave me all his time, all his love to teach me how to play ball.
When Jose was 16 years old, baseball scouts told him he was too small to play professionally. They
let me go out there and play. It was 50 guys, and it went down to 20 or 15, I think, and I wasn't one of those guys. But I just decided to come back the next day. The big boss was there at that time, and he just decided to let me join the organization.
The big boss he's referring to is then Houston Astros assistant Al Padrique, who noticed Jose's drive and passion for the game.
I remember he saying something that, okay, he really enjoyed playing baseball, and that is better than having all these tools, because you really want to see inside the player and really want to find out if he want to play or not. And he thought about me maybe having the right attitude to go out there and play.
Jose signed with the Astros organization in 2007. 4 years later, he was called up to the big leagues.
But I really wanted to do it, and if God gave me the ability to play, it was because he wanted me to go all the way through. It's a lot of emotions going on. In the beginning, I couldn't believe I was getting the call from the minor league team. Then all of a sudden I was here playing against guys that I used to watch on TV. I still look around and I thank God for everything, because sometimes it's hard to believe that what you dream as a kid is real life now.
By 2012, the little giant was an all-star. As the smallest player in the league, he says he has to work that much harder in order to compete.
It was always hard. It still is hard. And since the day one, when I was 16 years old, my first game as a professional minor league player, it was real tough. This game is getting harder every day, and the day you stop working hard and the day you feel comfortable, you might be out of here really soon.
So how does he do it? How does someone who's not supposed to be able to play in the majors compete consistently every day? Well, Jose's answer is simple: prayer.
Before I leave my house every single day, I ask God for help, for my family and for me. And then when I'm about to play the game, I just pray and I ask God to keep every single player and every single people understand healthy, and that we just can go out there and compete in the good way.
Jose Altuve is one of baseball's biggest stars. As a husband and father, he hasn't allowed the game to completely define who he is.
No, it's okay, baseball is good and all these things are good, but then when you go home and you have your family, that's when you find out, okay, this is the most beautiful gift for God. I think everything is connecting because my daughter, my wife, and my whole family, they help me to do better on the field. Even if I do good or not here, I go home and I try to be the same husband, the same dad.
Last season, Jose helped the Astros win their first World Series championship in franchise history. As he heads further into this season, he understands he's a blessed man because of his faith. So he's making sure to keep his priorities in order, with baseball holding the third spot behind his family at second and his faith in Christ at first, which he says helps him bring everything home and in order.
I think God had blessed me only because I let Him control everything that is around me. My faith in Him and my love for Him is just not worry about just little things. It's just worry about my faith in Him, and that way He's gonna put in order everything around me.
Did you catch that? Jose said he just trusts in the Lord and he controls everything around him. Jose's work ethic is like none that I've seen. I'm pretty sure he showed up to training camp ready to go. But what happens when everything you've done isn't enough? Well, according to Jose, that's when you trust in God and believe that He will make up the difference. And that will ultimately bring you success. We'll be right back with more of Going the Distance after this. Well, welcome back. Here is a Going the Distance news break. Well, the NBA is headed to Africa. In February, the NBA announced that it is building a pro league in Africa. And former President Barack Obama is among those set to have direct involvement in the league's development. Here's a clip that they posted on Twitter.
This is a great program. They've been doing it for 15 years here already. I just think there's so much potential here in this continent. We're getting the best out of it, and it's been fun to watch.
Such an honor to have two great leaders here.
Let me just say to the young folks here from Rwanda, it's an honor to be here in Kigali. It's my first time in Rwanda. It's a beautiful country you have here. And let me just say, take advantage of this opportunity.
You've got to invest a lot of your time and energy, and those who work hard put a lot of hours into it and a lot of thinking into it. Passion, actually being giants.
This is my team back here, isn't it? I like this game. I hope you know through sport that if you put in effort, you will be rewarded. I hope you learn through sport what it means to play as a team. And that even if you are the best player, your job is not just to show off, but your job is to make your teammates better.
Well, that is exciting. Former President Obama showing he can still drain the three. We'll be right back after this. Well, welcome back to Going the Distance. Our next story is one of redemption. Rich Donnelly's dream was to coach in the big leagues. And when he finally made it, he was willing to do anything to stay there, including abandoning his faith, his wife, and 3 small children. But one of them, his daughter Amy, gave him a wake-up call that changed everything.
Some say that time waits for no man. And for Rich Donnelly, a 28-year-old veteran coach in Major League Baseball, he didn't find out how precious time was until it ran out. He was a husband and father of 4 children, Bubba, Amy, Mike, and Tim. When he wasn't on the field, he was home spending time with his kids, especially his boys. But when it came to his only daughter, Amy, she had to compete for his attention.
I was prejudiced to the boys. My kids were going to grow up and be players, basketball, whatever. Amy, she was my daughter, maybe a cheerleader, maybe something, nothing sports. Sports wasn't big back then. So I spent most of my time with my boys. If they asked me, Dad, come out and let's hit, I'd go out with them. If Amy would ask me, I'll be out later, and I'd watch the game. Never go out. And never knew how much that meant to her until later.
Amy so desperately wanted her father's attention that one day she wrote him a note.
And she said, Dear Dad, did you think you were going to have 4 boys? She says, no, us girls rock too.
But Rich was too busy to notice. As his kids got older, baseball became all he cared about, and he slowly began to drift away from his family. He even abandoned his faith in God.
I don't need you no more. I got to where I wanted to be. I got everything I want. I got to the big leagues. I was ashamed because I thought if they saw me going to church, I would be, that was not tough. That was not big league. That was not, you're one of them. They were tough. They drank. They ran around, women. That's what all big leaguers did.
With his moral compass on the shelf, Rich began having an affair with another woman.
I disregarded my family at that point. I didn't care. It's like I didn't care if they found out or not. I'm in the big leagues. Hey, it took me 37 years to get here. This is my dream. I'm not going to do anything to hurt it. I'm not going to be a family guy or a Christian, because that's not what big leaguers do.
But his wife did find out and divorced him. None of his kids were more hurt and disappointed than 14-year-old Amy.
Wow. My baby. She want nothing to do with you. And we didn't talk for a long time.
In 1986, Rich joined the Pittsburgh Pirates coaching staff. Not having his family around made him regret the choices he'd made. He began asking God for forgiveness.
I said, Lord, I've failed you miserably. I know you always say you will forgive me, but man, if you'll forgive me for this, you are something else. I couldn't have screwed this up anymore.
As time went on, Rich slowly began to repair his relationship with Amy. Then in 1992, Rich got a call from her he wasn't ready for.
Hey, Dad, Ames. Hey, what's up? What are you doing, Ames? He goes, Dad, I got something I got to tell you. She said, please don't be mad. I have a brain tumor, and I'm sorry. I couldn't even talk.
Amy had surgery. Afterwards, the doctor came out with the results.
He says, Rich, your daughter has a malignant brain tumor right behind her eye, and we can't get it out. I couldn't take it. I walked out. I said, yeah, you're a big, tough guy. You did all that junk. You did all this. This is your fault. You cheated on your wife. You cheated on your kids. You did this. You did this, did this. This is your fault.
Amy endured 6 months of chemo. On one of her off days, she, along with her best friend Cindy, were allowed to watch her father coach during Game 5 of the NLCS against the Atlanta Braves, which the Pirates won, forcing a Game 6 in Atlanta.
I told her, if we get in this World Series, you're coming. We're going back to the hotel. She reaches up, puts her arms around my neck. And she was my girl again.
Then something interesting happened when Amy jokingly asked him a question.
She says, Dad, when you're coaching third and you reach down and cup your hands, what are you telling those guys on a second? The chicken runs at midnight or what? And I went, where'd you come up with that one at? She said, it just came out.
The chicken runs at midnight. The phrase didn't make any sense at the time, but would later mean more than they realized. The Pirates won Game 6 in Atlanta, which forced a Game 7. Amy couldn't reach her dad to wish him good luck for the game, so she asked the team receptionist to give him a message.
So, dear Dad, chicken runs at midnight, love Amy. And I'm going, man, oh man, we're going to win this thing, and Amy's going to the World Series and she's home with her pom-poms and everything. And when they announced the starting lineups, the big boom microphone was on. And Chico Lynn, he saw the note. He goes, hey man, what's this? I go, chicken runs at midnight. He goes, okay, good, chicken runs at midnight. He had no idea what it was, none. So he's yelling it to the players. You could hear it on national TV.
Chicken run at midnight, let's go. Chicken run at midnight.
Let's go. She heard it in Texas. She heard it, her and Cindy, they went crazy. We're gonna win, we're going, blah, blah, blah.
Unfortunately, the Pirates lost. The family spent the next few months with Amy as she fought for her life. Then in January, Amy lapsed into a coma, and Rich was instructed to say his last goodbye.
I just told her, Amy, I know you can hear me. He said, I'm so sorry for everything I've done. I love you to death. And it's just surreal that you have to say goodbye, knowing when you walk out of that room, that's the last time you'll see her.
Amy died on January 28, 1993, at the age of 17. There was only one inscription the family felt was suitable for her tombstone.
We go to the funeral home, and they have all these beautiful sayings, oh, the Lord be with you, and all this. And we go, no. Chicken runs at midnight. So they put chicken runs at midnight. And it became our family motto.
In 1997, Rich joined the Florida Marlins coaching staff. And that season, the unbelievable happened.
Now, magically, we get in the World Series. So we had a second baseman named Craig Counsell. When Counts hit, he held his hand up ahead and he flapped like a chicken. So my two boys, Tim and Mike, were bat boys all summer. They'd call him Chicken. They say, hey, the chicken wants to take some batting practice. Hey, the chicken wants some ground balls. The chicken. No, didn't think nothing of it.
During the 11th inning of Game 7 of the 1997 World Series against the Cleveland Indians, Craig Counsell's nickname would come to mean everything to the Donnellys. Counsell's on third base with 2 outs. Edgar Renteria gets a base hit, bringing Counsell in for the winning run. The Florida Marlins win the World Series. Rich had achieved his dream. But what happened next shook him to his core.
Now, people are on the field. Pandemonium. I'm trying to find my sons, Tim and Mike. They were the bat boys. I can't find them. I see Tim halfway between first and second. I see him screaming, crying, red face, tears. What's the matter with you? What are you crying about? He said, Dad, look. I said, what are you talking about? He said, look at the clock. Stadium clock was behind us. I looked, it was 12:03. He said, Dad, the chicken ran at midnight. All the celebration stopped. I felt like, again, all the blood drained right out of me. I was just like this. Oh my God. Oh my God. This can't happen. Amy said the chicken ran at midnight. The chicken ran at midnight.
Amy's prophetic phrase had come full circle. And in that moment, so did Rich's redemption. Since that thrilling night, he has spent every moment honoring his faith in Christ and his beloved daughter that changed his heart. In the book entitled The Chicken Runs at Midnight by Tom Friend, Rich gives great detail about his story and hopes readers get the message that God can change anyone, regardless of the mistakes they've made. Because in the end, his love conquers all.
God forgave me doing all that stuff and yet allowed me to reach my dream and allowed me to have peace within myself of Amy passing away. He let me have peace. The Lord is like a statue, and there's ice all around him. And that ice is all the material things in this world. And you chip it away, chip it away, chip it away, chip it away. And when there's nothing left, the Lord is he's the last thing left. He ain't gonna leave you.
You can find The Chicken Runs at Midnight just about anywhere that books are sold. And what a great message. We all have dreams that we're working towards, but are you really willing to lose everything in order to achieve them? Rich's story affirms us that there is a better way to do it, and that we don't have to do it alone. Psalm 37:4 says, "Take delight in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." In other words, focus on the Lord first, and He'll take care of the rest. You see, going the distance is about doing what most won't do to assure victory. You know, taking the road less traveled. And that's not easy. But with God, all things are possible. We'll be right back after this. Well, I want to thank you for joining us for Going the Distance. I look forward to seeing you here next week. And remember, whatever you're working towards, go get after it with all your heart. Because life is short. Go the distance. See you next time.